Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa Shield, and this is Finding the Guardian of Your Soul. I am so excited to be here. I want to talk to you today about not letting your love life drift away. So we are already, if you can believe it, in the middle of February. It seems like yesterday was New Year's, and we were all making resolutions. We were promising that this was the year we were going to go back online. We were going to set up our new profile, maybe get some new pictures. We were going to start going to more live events so that we could meet people in real life. And we vowed, many of us, or many of you vowed, that this was going to be the year that you found true love. And now here we are in the middle of, give me one moment. Thank you. Here we are already in the middle of February, and it's a wonderful time to look back and ask ourselves, what happened to those New Year's resolutions? Are we sticking to our plan? Are we out there? Are we committed? Do we even have a plan? Or did we just make a promise? One of the biggest mistakes we make when we set out to do something, especially with New Year's resolutions, is that we come up with these ideas of all the things we're going to change in our lives, and then we have no real structure or plan for implementing those changes. So over the long term, we drift away. We start to drift. We come in guns a-blazing, and then suddenly we look back and it's a month or a month and a half later, and we're right back where we were the year before. So I really want you all to stop and think about your love lives. I want you to think about how many times you've told yourself, this is the year I'm going to find my guy. This is the year it's going to happen. And I want you to think about how long it's been that you've been telling yourself that story. So I'm going to put my weight out there. I have always struggled with my weight. I've gone up, I've gone down, but I've never, ever, when I was younger, I was never consistent with my weight. And it was one of the most horrible parts of my life because I spent so much time and energy feeling horrible about it, starting and stopping diets and, promising myself that I was going to change, that I was going to get a handle on it. And one day I was talking to a friend of mine. She had put on a whole bunch of weight. Actually, it was a woman who worked for me at the time. And I used to have an importing business where I imported folk art from all over Mexico. And Gina was this beautiful woman who worked for me. I adored her. And Gina and I were talking, and she had put on so much weight. And I was going up again. And we were both really just upset and disappointed with ourselves. And we were having a very real heart-to-heart about this. And I said, let's do something about it. Let's find a way to actually get a handle on this. Let's support each other and do some kind of diet or something. And Gina was actually in a 12-step program for drug addiction. And she came back and she said, Lisa, there's a 12-step program and it's called CEA How. And I know a lot of people who have had tremendous recovery in this program. And I heard her and I thought about it and I realized that this had been a lifelong battle and that I had never really taken it seriously. I had always put sort of Band-Aids on it. I'd get into Weight Watchers or some other program, and there was no real accountability. There was nothing to keep me really integrated into that system, into a program. And so I might do it for a few weeks or a few months, and then I'd start to lose weight. And slowly, without even realizing it, I would start to drift. And little by little, it might start with, a friend's birthday and a piece of cake. And then, once I'd broken my diet, it became easier and easier and easier to keep moving the line and breaking it a little more and a little more and a little more. And then I'd go on a vacation and I'd justify, well, I'm on vacation. I might as well, I'll get back on it when I get back home. But suddenly I'd turn around and I'd put back not just the weight that I'd lost, but I'd actually put back on more weight. If we don't have a real plan, a serious commitment, another one of my come to Jesus moments was when I looked at my the fact that I was getting older and I wasn't working out. And again, I was not taking care of my body. And although I might be able to go to the gym for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, I would quickly lose interest. I would slide back. I'd find a million reasons not to go. And I realized that I would slowly drift off track and then I'd be right back where I started. And this is something I think we all do. We want to make a change in our lives, but we don't really stop and think about what it really takes to implement those kinds of changes. Hi, I think you're in the wrong place. Oh. You're in the middle of my Facebook Live. You need to go next door. That's okay. My husband's office is next door, and one of his new clients just accidentally walked in. So I apologize that. We'll be editing it out of the final clip. So when you're going to make a serious life change, and I'm talking about changing a lifelong pattern and really making a serious change in your life, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to throw up a profile and I'm going to go on some dates and, this time it's going to be different. If nothing changes, nothing changes, right? A lot of you go to therapy, you do some self-help courses, you get all pumped up and you say, okay, now I'm ready. Now I really feel ready. And then you get right back out there, you post that profile, maybe even hire a professional photographer, you get some new photographs, and then you get back out there and you're like, oh, online dating sucks because all I keep seeing are the same guys. It's the same stuff. All the guys keep ghosting me. Well, the truth is, it's not about doing a bunch of other programs or doing a bunch of therapy and then thinking, okay, now it's going to be different. You actually have to change the way you're approaching this part of your life. You actually have to learn how to date differently. I did years and years and years of personal growth work and therapy. And yes, I became happier. I was more self-aware. I liked myself better, but I still didn't know how to relate to men. I still would implode every time I met a guy I found really attractive because I didn't know how to talk to a man. And I just kept hoping, crossing my fingers and hoping that he would find me more attractive, right? Because suddenly I was this new person and I had this new personality and all these new insights, but none of that helped me relate better to men. It didn't make me a better dater. It didn't help me have better relationships with men because I still didn't know anything about the opposite sex. And so even though I'd done a lot of work on myself, I'd even read some books and learned some new things, it still didn't apply specifically to this part of my life. So what would happen was I'd start feeling good. I'd join a new class. I'd sign up for a course. I'd join a new group. But I still was intimidated by men because I didn't know how to talk to them. I didn't know what they wanted from me as a woman other than sex. I didn't know how to create a connection with a man. I didn't know the kinds of things that really turned men on and turned men off. I didn't even know how to flirt with guys online or what to say or what how to approach it. And so if I didn't have a plan or a new way of approaching this, nothing was going to change. And I was going to keep attracting the same guys. I was going to keep relating to the men in the same way. They weren't going to find me attractive. And the scenario was going to keep playing out. And I'd go on a few dates and I'd get upset or angry or disappointed in myself or frustrated with the men or the dating process. And I'd be right back where I started. Are you all getting this? Do you understand why you keep setting yourself up to fail? Why you keep drifting and finding yourself right back in the same place over and over and over again? Dating, men, relationships. This is a very specific focus. Just like losing weight for me was a very specific focus, or working out. I knew I needed to go to the gym. I knew I needed to exercise, but I knew little about how to exercise. Sure, I could watch other people on the machines and I could sit down and do the machines, but I didn't understand how many reps to do, how quickly to do them, how slowly to do them. Did I want to do them fast and do multiple sets? Did I want to do them slow? What were the ways to build muscle and definition? What were the ways to lose fat? Did I work my upper body? Did I work my lower body? How much weight should I put on? In order to do those reps, did I do one rep and then keep adding weight? Or should I do, sets of the same amount and then keep raising it periodically? I had no knowledge of how to do that. I also had no commitment, nobody to be accountable to. Nobody to say, hey, you're doing great, or cheer me on. I wound up hiring a professional trainer. I paid him $100 a session, 3 times a week. That was $1,200 a month. That was a rent. That was as much as some people pay in rent every single month, so that I had a great trainer. I was accountable. If I didn't give him 24 hours notice that I wasn't going to make it for a session, I had to pay for it. In 4 years, I only missed 2 sessions because of that. In 4 years, I went every single week for 4 years, 3 times a week, until the pandemic hit. And now we've moved. We're in Santa Fe. I don't have a trainer, and I'm not going to the gym. I have no structure. I have no accountability. I hate going to the gym. I've never liked it. I like the results. I like the way I feel mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. It's probably the most valuable thing I can do with my money or my time, but I'm not going because I don't have a system and a structure. Did I promise myself at the beginning of the year that I was going to get back in there and get going again? Sure. Did I do it? A little bit, and then I drifted away. So now I'm looking for a trainer. I'm going to get back on my program. I'm going to start working out regularly because I can't afford not to. And I know I'm not going to do it. I hate it, but I have to do it. I sit at a computer all day. My kitchen is not very far from here. I work from home. It's easy for me to fall back into my old patterns and my old behaviors because it is so easy to drift away, no matter how much I know I need it, and no matter how much I enjoy the benefits of doing it. I'm not going to do it if I don't have a system and a structure. Those of you who are struggling in your love lives, if you do not have accountability, coaching, a new way of looking at this part of your life, somebody who can help you reframe the way you think about dating, about men, about relationships, someone who can help you get past your fears and your negative thinking. A group of other women who are on the same path, who are also looking at this in a positive way, who are not seeing roadblocks, who are not in fear, women who are out there, who are doing it, who are pushing through and moving forward, going on dates, making progress. It is so important not just to do this in a vacuum, but to work with a group of other women who are being successful at this to give you positive reinforcement, positive modeling, encouragement. It is so important to be a part of something bigger than yourself when you're doing something. When I go to the gym, I'm in a community of other people who are conscious of their bodies, who work out. I look at the other women who are in great shape, who take care of themselves. I want to look like those women. I look at the other women who are struggling and I think, okay, Lisa, if you don't get your butt in here, that's going to be you. But if you, what do they say? Fail to plan, plan to fail, right? If you don't have a structure and a system, and if you look back and you see that this has been a chronic issue throughout your life. Now, maybe some of you have had relationships. It's not that you've been single your whole life, but I bet for most of you, not only have you've never been in the kind of relationship you're really longing for. So maybe you've had some relationships. It's not like you've never had a guy, but most of you have probably been telling yourselves for years, I'm going to find a guy. This is going to be my year. I've been doing all this work on myself. I just got Botox. I got plastic surgery. I lost 20 pounds. I've been working out. I just read, Why Men Love Bitches or How to Get the Guy. And I'm ready. I'm ready. This time it's going to work. And then you go right back out there again, and it's more of the same. And you start to drift. You lose interest. You lose focus. And here's the worst part about this. Every time you do that, every time you tell yourself, this time it's going to be different, and you go out and you hit that same wall, you give up quicker. And you give up and you lose more time. You lose more precious time that you could be spending with the love of your life, or what we call the guardian of your soul. So I'm just going to make a little plug here. I want you to go to lisashield.com and click the button on that link so that you can hop over to watch my free 45-minute presentation. Or maybe we've even changed that link now to my 7-minute VSL, video sales letter. So this is a much shorter presentation that condenses everything that's in that 45-minute workshop into a much shorter presentation, so that those of you who are busy, who don't have time, we want to make sure that you can watch this and hop on a call with us if you think that you might want some support in this part of your life. There is no greater investment you can make than in you. Grant Cardone says, the best investment of our disposable income is in our personal growth. The best investment, not in the stock market, not in real estate, in you. I have a client who's in my mastermind group. She doesn't come from a wealthy background. She didn't have a ton of disposable income, but she signed up for this program. And when I asked her last night, I said, how come you did this course? Most people would have held on to their money, stuck it in the bank, and been afraid to spend it on something like this. And she said, Lisa, I had a lawsuit, and all of my money that I was holding on to so tightly, gone. 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 She said, this has been the best investment I've ever made in my entire life. I have changed more in this year and a half since I've been working with you. And not only have I grown and changed and learned about men and dating and love and relationships, but every part of my life is changing. I want more. I want more success in my work life. I want better friends. I couldn't have gotten that if I hadn't had the coaching that I've had with you. And this is a woman who was so committed. She has 2 special needs children. She is so committed to changing her life and making their lives better. And she realized the best thing she could possibly do for herself and her children was to invest in her personal growth so that everything could change, not park her money in the bank. And by the way, the stock market's down. Money is losing value right now. The only way for that money to really grow and increase in the best possible way is investing it in you, in support, so that you can change your life from the inside out and not drift away, not keep losing focus, making idle promises to yourself at the beginning of the year and then turning around and realizing nothing's changed. You've got to have a program, support, community, an expert who can guide you through that process and give you new information, direction, guidance. 7 years ago, I had a conversation with myself. I was coaching and I was sitting in my office doing one-on-one sessions. And I said, Lisa, is this really what you want to be doing forever? Sitting by yourself in an office, coaching people one-on-one on how to date? And the answer was no. I'd been doing that already for 14 years, building my one-on-one practice. And I thought, oh my God, if this is how it's going to be for another 14 years, I'm going to get sick of hearing myself talk. And the next day I was online and an ad popped up online. A wonderful coach, Russ Ruffino, who teaches coaches how to build 6 and 7-figure coaching businesses. And I thought, wow, doesn't that sound amazing? I have 14 years of experience. I'd love to hear what this guy can help me do with that. And thanks to Russ, I could have never done this without him. I would have gotten started like I had on so many other projects, and I would have quit. But instead, I did his initial 8-week course, and it was profoundly life-changing. And then I decided to sign up for his mastermind. He didn't have any other courses at the time. So I joined his mastermind. And that was a fortune to do that. At the time, I'd never spent that much money on anything in my life other than my house. And I decided to do it because I figured if this man can teach me what he says he can, then it's worth every penny. He's changed my life. I've been working with him for almost 7 years now. 7 years. But having a mentor, having a proven plan, watching somebody, a real pro, build a business and grow it. Now he's making millions of dollars a month in his business. And he's shown me how to take my little one-on-one coaching practice and turn it into something extraordinary. And we're still growing and growing. Our community is building. It's really quite remarkable, but he's helped me do something that I could have never done on my own. I would have drifted. I would have started. I would have been doing this thing and reading this book and that book, doing this little course, trying that thing. No, I found the best person I could find. I made a commitment to myself. I invested a lot of money in a program so that I knew I couldn't just phone it in or quit because it was too much money to just throw away. It held me accountable. It made me show up, the financial investment, because to put down that kind of money meant that I was really serious about committing to the outcome. And I did it. I did something I never thought I could ever do, but I never would have done it on my own. So I really want you to look at your love life. I want you to get serious with yourself about what you're doing here, because I promise you, when I looked at my coaching practice 7 years ago and I stood in my office and I thought about doing that for the next 14 years, and I got a very clear hell no, I'm not going to sit in this office and coach one-on-one forever. I need to think bigger. And I saw Russ's ad. I could have never accomplished on my own what I've accomplished with his help. And it wasn't that I couldn't make $1 million in my coaching practice and have a thriving group course, but I couldn't have done that on my own. I never could have figured out what Russ has taught me in these 7 years. There was no way I could have done that by myself. And it wasn't that it was impossible to have $1 million coaching business. I just didn't know how to do it, where to get started. I needed help to be able to make that happen. And that's what so many of you are missing. You start out, you have good intentions, you want it, but you have no system, no structure, no help, nobody who can show you the way, a proven process for making this happen. So I have a little time here. I'm happy to answer questions if anybody has them. And if not, I'll just go ahead and end early. But I'd love to hear from you, and it doesn't have to be questions about drifting or whatever. It can be questions about love, about men. But what you don't understand is that online dating works. It works. 90% of my clients meet their partners online. 90%. And these are successful, intelligent, educated women who have struggled for years to do this on their own. And with my help and my husband's help and the help of my amazing team, they get this solved. How much longer, how many more of these precious years of your life are you going to throw away, wondering if it's ever going to happen for you? How many nights are you going to curl up in front of the sofa watching love stories on television, or going online and throwing up your hands because you can't connect with any good men? We write your profile for you. We help you get the right photos. We teach you how to weed out the wrong guys, and we show you how to find the right ones. Our women come back to us. Go to lisashield.com/success.stories. If you really want to see some of the success stories of my clients, go and see what they have to say. They have it right there, right there. You can look on my website. You can see live, you can see video recordings of interviews of my clients who are now with the loves of their lives because of the work they did with us. Women like you who were struggling, who thought this would never, ever happen. We were on our mastermind call last night, and one of my most beautiful clients, most intelligent, she is an extraordinary woman, and she met the guardian of her soul, and she was on that call, and she said, Lisa, when I started the mastermind, I really wondered if this could ever happen for me. And now here I am with the love of my life, the guardian of my soul. And I know if it hadn't been for you and Benjamin and everything you taught me, I wouldn't be here right now. And she talked about how calm this relationship is and how she's over that point where she's been waiting for the other shoe to drop, for something to explode, for it to blow up. And it hasn't. It's gotten sweeter. It's gotten calmer. It's gotten even more beautiful. And she said, all I can describe it as is I finally feel like I'm home. This is what we show you how to find. And you are going to keep making promises and then drifting if you don't have a plan, support, and a community of other women, other intelligent, successful, like-minded women who are on that path with you. So I am Lisa Shield. This has been Finding the Guardian of Your Soul. Please go to lisashield.com, click the button, and watch my free presentation. Stay to the end, because that's where you can sign up for a call with me or a member of my team. We will show you how we can help you find the guardian of your soul. You can also give us a thumbs up here. You can rate and like our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. All of our podcast episodes are also on my website, lisashield.com. You can give us a thumbs up on YouTube. And finally, please send us your ideas. We would love to talk about some of the things that you're struggling with. And you can do that by sending that to podcast@lisashield.com. I thank you so much for being here today. I send you so much love. And one last thing, please, please mark it on your calendar for Sunday. We always, my husband and I, do a beautiful, beautiful presentation called Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. That is with me and my husband, Benjamin Shield. And we will see you next time. Bye bye. Have a wonderful rest of your day.